A cold, lucid indifference reigned in his soul. At his first violent sin, he had felt a wave of vitality pass out of him and had feared to find his body or his soul maimed by the excess. Instead, the vital wave had carried him on its bosom, out of himself and back again, when it receded. And no part of body or soul had been maimed, but a dark peace had been established between them. The chaos in which his ardor extinguished itself was a cold, indifferent knowledge of himself. James Joyce, a portrait of the artist as a young man. Do you know you're AWOL? Oh, really? Well, I was gonna explain it all to the sergeant. I wouldn't leave the base if I were you. Well, alright. Let me just go put my wife in the cab and I'll come right back to my room. This encounter caused me to have to leave my skateboard, but he brought the crap I fed him enough to give me time not only to put Marie in the cab, but myself also. We stayed 2 more nights in Baltimore, and then decided the best thing to do was to get as far away from Maryland as possible, California being the furthest place we could think of. Los Angeles is what first came to mind, but when we went to the bus station to purchase our tickets, I saw the sign. That night I used some of the money we made earlier that day, and had someone buy Marie and myself a bottle of gin. After finishing half of it, we drove all over San Francisco. We drove to Twin Peaks, to Lombard Street, and the building resembling a lighthouse near the Embarcadero. By 1 o'clock in the morning, we had a fourth of the gin left and a fourth of a tank of gas. Being bored of driving in the city, we drove across the bay to Berkeley. But I misjudged the amount of gas it would take to get there and back, and by the time we exited off onto University Avenue, we had just enough gas to find a place to park. It didn't take long for us to get fed up. Fed up with the drugs, the lifestyle, not being with our kids, everything. We made a vow to give it all up and go home. We left Berkeley on the BART, nodding off all the way to the city. Chapter 12. She's gone. I just wanted to be the way it was. Marie had said that often, and every time she said it, she had tears in her eyes. She said it before we were married and during the course of our marriage. She said it until she realized it would never be the way it was. I kept lookout while BJ removed the car's good tire and replaced it with our blown tire. Time being of the essence, we didn't concern ourselves with securing the other car's tire. We quickly left in search of a place to exchange our new tire for the spare. At a hotel across the street, we completed the task, and having advanced this far in broad daylight, we didn't hesitate to go ahead with the gas run. It was approaching twilight when we headed west out of Wells. A mile out, 2 state troopers were parked in the median, posted as if they were trying to catch speeders. You think they're there for us? I asked BJ. Probably not, but we'll find out in a second. As soon as we passed them, they switched on their lights and pulled out after us. Shit! What the fuck are we gonna do now? I yelled, staring at the blue lights that followed. We're going to buckle up, that's what, said BJ. I was hoping he'd say something to that effect. He added more pressure to the gas pedal, and after securing my seatbelt, I pulled the DRI cassette from the glove compartment and popped it into the stereo. Speeds accelerated to and maintained the 110 mph mark. The chase had begun. Hold my arm, she said. What? I snapped back. I was nervous, pissed off, and I had no intention of watching her put that shit in her arm. Just squeeze it above the elbow so I can get a vein to stick out. I put the cap back on the beer and slammed the bottle on the bench as hard as I could without breaking it. I placed both of my hands around her arm and could not keep my eyes away when she brought the needle to the vein. Annie inserted the needle, registered the vein, and pressed down on the plunger. As I watched the dark liquid go in, I felt everything in my stomach about to come out. I let go of her arm and fought to keep from fainting. You made it! The angel leapt from the log and ran over to give me a hug. Sorry I took so long. I got lost, I told her. It's okay, Colette said in a voice mixed with giddiness and liquor. Come, have a seat. She walked me over to the rest of the group, 3 other girls and 2 guys. I was passed a bottle of Bacardi. So what's up? Colette asked, sitting in front of me. I'm glad you came. I was beginning to think you weren't. Oh no, I definitely wanted to, but I got lost and I was so scared you wouldn't be here by the time I finally found this place. But you are here and I am very happy you are. You are? Yes, very. Me too, she said with a smile of pure infatuation. She then dipped her hands into the top of her shirt and pulled out a joint that had been secured in her cleavage. You want to smoke? I was high. inexplicably high, not from a chemical or an herb, but from an invisible force. Invisible like the step I tripped over because my eyes darted around from bird to tree to flower and other beautiful things, my eyes searching out the beauty I felt in my heart. I had found the one I didn't know I was looking for. And sure, I had wanted to officially meet her and hang out with her, but had I known that things would have taken the course they did, I would have been too afraid. I was scared even then, like the feeling of holding an expensive chandelier with your teeth, not knowing how long you will hold it, and knowing if it were to fall, it would be shattered beyond repair. All this I felt after only one night and a little kiss on the forehead, but I knew it was big. "You're coming back, right?" she asked. "Yeah, I think. I'm leaving my guitar with Rob. Take care." I left the hotel with only my backpack. It had begun to drizzle as I walked across Mission Street and into the bus station. The next bus left in 45 minutes. An hour later, I was looking back at San Francisco for the last time. Virginia came for me, and while awaiting my fate in Hampton City Jail, I watched on the television as the planes crashed into the World Trade Center, watching the Twin Towers fall through iron bars. 2 weeks later, I was sentenced to 3 years in the state penitentiary. 9 months into my sentence, I received my final letter from Colette, and 4 months after that, I began to write a book about the previous 6 years, beginning at the Greyhound bus station in Maryland.
From my room